Welcome to episode 3 of Talk West Ham. If you're new to watching this is the show where you can get involved. You choose the topics. All you have to do is give us a minute, let us know that you want to come on. We'll sort the rest. You pop on and you choose the subject. You talk to us. I'm joined here with Gonzo tonight as per normal. Gonzo, what are you hoping comes up tonight?
Well, this has been an interesting news week, hasn't it? We've got the Olympic Stadium. Of course, the report has just been published, so I guess that's going to be a hot topic. And of course, Sakho, we've just gone out of the cup as well, so you know what they're going to ask. I don't. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the surprise.
Well, then, I think you're in for a treat. That's the topic you're wanting for us. Let's crack on. Let's get caller number 1 on the line. Right, it's time for our first caller, and he is on the line. Caller number 1, what's your name?
Hello, I'm Josh from the Football Forecast.
Josh, thank you very much for calling in and joining us tonight. What are you here to chat about?
I'm here to talk about Wednesday night as well as Enna Valencia.
What have you got to say then? Come on then, let's hear it. What have you got to say about the game, first of all, before we speak about Enna Valencia?
First 10 minutes on Wednesday night, I thought we was going to go out, attack them all game and just press their back line constantly. And then after that 10 minutes, we was nothing. We sat back, invited pressure onto us, which eventually lost us the game. I feel Kouyaté and Noble had to drop a bit deeper, and that's to do with tiredness. I think 1 or 2 players should and could have been dropped, but played instead. I think some of the blame has to go on Bilic for his team selection. I thought it was a perfect game for someone like Victor Moses, that we haven't seen much of lately. And then picking players like Enna Valencia, who, let's face it, didn't have the greatest game. He missed 2 chances in the first 20 minutes, I think it was. And then after that, we just didn't really look comfortable at all. We was panicking on the ball quite a lot. And second half, I think we should have gone Tompkins at right back, Enna Valencia off. We should have brought on Collins to go centre half, and then pushed Antonio further forward to give us more of an attacking threat. But I think Enna Valencia was just a waste out on that left-hand side.
Gonzo, I know you agree with Josh there because we did the review together, and I think your views were pretty much the same as him, particularly about Enna Valencia. But why do you think we looked so tired this last couple of games? Because Manchester United looked a lot fitter than us, but they've had just more games than us because they've had European football as well to contend with.
I see. It's funny. I mean, that's probably the only bit I would disagree on. I don't think we lack fitness. I don't think it was a fatigue issue. They did seem to run around more than us, but I do think there was a motivation. I think we were 1 player too short in the centre midfield, as you know, and I do think that was something that maybe Bilic might have rectified. We were getting overrun. It was a 3-on-2 in the centre midfield, and Noble and Kouyaté struggled to cope, but I don't think it was because they were unfit or they were tired, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, I thought about this because we did the review straight after, and since then I've calmed down and I've had some perspective, and I've got 2 theories, if you like. Josh, I'll ask you this one. Do you think the foreign players maybe just don't get the FA Cup as much as the English ones? Because after the game, it seemed that everybody said Lanzini and Payet were quite quiet and Valencia was poor. However, the players that were coming out with praise was Randolph, who's granted is Irish, but you get my point. Tompkins did well. Yeah. Noble gave it 100%. Andy Carroll still put in a shift. So it was all the English players. Do you think that maybe had an issue on the magic of the FA Cup spirit, if you like, Josh?
I mean, there's always been that theory that foreign players don't get how much the FA Cup means, and yet, yes, I think that's true, but I don't think players will be like, oh, it's the FA Cup quarter-final, we'll go out and have an off day today, like not give 100%. I don't think that's the case at all. I just think, as we said here, we got overrun in midfield. That was the problem, and Bilic's lineup killed us, to be honest.
So what's your thoughts on Enna Valencia then? I know you say he had a poor game. What's your thoughts on him overall? Is Josh's mind made up Enna Valencia needs to go? Are you hoping that we see the Enna Valencia we saw for the first 3-4 months when he joined West Ham?
Even last season, I think I was one of the only people questioning his ability. And since then, this season has really showed the player he is. His touch isn't good enough. he doesn't finish often enough. Really needs to work on it. Needs to get to the gym. Every time anyone touches him, bang, straight on the floor. You know, he's just not good enough. He's simply not good enough for this club.
Well, I asked one of my good friends this question, and they struggled to give me an answer. So, Gonzo, I'm going to ask you, my other good friend, the same question. Maiga got a lot of criticism. What attribute has Valencia got that's better than Maiga, apart from hitting a ball hard and being pacier? Like, in terms of first touch, passing, vision, is it any Valencia actually going to happen? Is his attributes actually that better?
Right.
Well, look, we bought the wrong Ecuadorian. Let's be perfectly honest with you. It was I think it was Montero that the winger went to Swansea. We were looking at him. We didn't get him. Unfortunately, the thing is with Valencia is he is good at striking a stationary ball. The moment the ball is moving, he has trouble. He's got first touch issues. He's got ball control issues. He's not got the greatest first touch in the world.
He also has football issues.
Yeah, well, you know, he's got a brain. He's not got the best football brain, but he runs around a lot. He's physically good. He's got a really, really firm shot, and he's very good at jumping. But you know what? His firm shot deserted him when we needed it in the cup. Unfortunately, I don't really think he's got a future at West Ham. I didn't think we should have signed him in the first place, in all honesty. I've just never worked out what position he plays in. I don't think he's a striker. I don't think. He's not got a trick. He can't control the ball. He can't cross. So I also don't think he's a winger either. So I mean, I just don't know what we do in terms of Maiga. Well, you know what? I don't think Maiga was particularly interested, which I don't think you can level out Valencia. I think Valencia's interested. I just don't think it's going to work out for him.
Fantastic. Well, Josh, thank you very much for your call. Appreciate your views and fantastic views to wear as well. Actually, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks.
Cheers for that, Josh. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
And it's time for caller number 2. It's a familiar face for me and Gonzo, but in case you don't know who he is, introduce yourself, please.
My name's Adam, and I'm from West Ham World.
Adam, thank you very much for joining us again. What are you here to chat about tonight?
Basically, it's chat about the Olympic Stadium, really. I mean, we're getting a lot of stick, and it's unneeded, and we just need. I've just got to credit David Sullivan for going on TalkSPORT the other night. I mean, that takes a lot of big balls to do that, and I'm sure he's got the big balls to back it up. So, but yeah, talk about the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, well, I'm going to look forward to this one because I know Gonzo's chomping at the bit to get his teeth into this. If there's anyone that knows all the stats and figures, I know Gonzo does, and I'm pretty sure you do as well, Adam. Speaking about big balls, we did invite Richard Keys on tonight, but he ignored us, so he also didn't fancy it. So Richard Keys, if by any chance you're watching this, you're free to come on the next one. We'd love a wee chat with you, but come on in, Adam, let's have your rant. What is it you want to rant about the Olympic Stadium?
Well, basically, Arsenal and Tottenham fans, get a life. I mean, we've got this stadium now. Get over it. We're going to be competing for the Premier League title. We're going to be compete for the FA Cup, League Cup, you name it. We're going to be in it. But they need to understand that this Olympic Stadium is not a state aid stadium. We're not being funded by the government whatsoever. You know, we're actually paying the government to use the stadium. When have you ever seen state aid where you have to pay for something? It's unbelievable. And the reason why they've got the ump is because they didn't think of it first. They're the ones building their stadiums first, and you know it's like you've got a house. If you're in mortgage trouble, you can go to the council and they'll buy it off you, and you can rent it off them. You know, you can actually it's a sell to rent strategy. But if you do that, that's state aid, and that's why they've got the ump, because they know that they can't do the same with what we're doing.
Gonzo, what's your thoughts on this? I've been really looking forward to this.
How long you got? Well, I mean, obviously, firstly, Adam's so disgusted he's fallen off of his sofa, as you can see. He can barely pick himself up off the floor. Okay, let's get one thing straight. We're only renting because the initial agreement, which was to buy, was scuppered by Spurs and Leyton Orient's Barry Hearn. Okay, we had agreed we were going to pay £90 million towards the conversion costs, which is what everybody seems to have to be in their bonnet about. They contested it, and basically because of that, we now have to rent. So it's actually the situation that we find ourselves in, that everybody finds themselves in, is actually of the making of Tottenham Hotspur and Leyton Orient or Barry Hearn. You know, choose whoever you want. In terms of the renting strategy, I prefer, rather than talk about houses, it's more like a holiday home, okay, or more like a caravan by the sea, to use a terrible analogy. And that is the point that when you go and rent a holiday home, you rent it for a week or 2 weeks in the summer. The landlord of that holiday home has the whole rest of the year to rent it out to anybody else that they like. So bearing in mind we're renting it for 25 days, I think actually they've got a pretty damn good deal. The other thing is UK Athletics also co-own that stadium. We've got to accept that, because if were it not for UK Athletics, there wouldn't even have been a stadium. So let's just accept the fact that the games were hugely successful. That's why the stadium is there. Okay. UK Athletics is in total disarray because of all the Russia and the drugs and all of that, the performance-enhancing drugs and all that sort of thing. Because of that, they are losing sponsors hand over fist. If it was just UK Athletics in that stadium, they wouldn't get £500,000 a year in naming rights. I doubt they'd get anything, because there's a Premier League club in there and Premier League branded. That place next season will get £10 million in naming rights, and that then leaves them the rest of the year. They're already in profit. Leaves them the rest of the year in concerts, boxing matches, everything like that, to make their money back.
Right. Well, my job doing this is to try and come up with controversial questions for YouTube, and it's difficult because I really agree with this deal, blah, blah, blah. However, there's one little bit that I think I picked up on, and maybe I'm just not noticing an answer. I was waiting for someone to ask this to West Ham. No one seems to have, right? So, Adam, I'm going to pick on you as you're the guest, right?
Thanks.
We're paying 2.5 million a year for using it 25 games, correct?
5 million a year. Is it 5 million? I thought it's
2.5. 2.5 million for 25 games for a year, right?
Well, according to David Sullivan last night, it's actually 100 grand a day each match day plus 6% interest. So effectively, we're paying 106 grand a day for that place.
Well, this is my question to you, Adam. We also have office space there, and we have a shop there, etc. So really, everybody's saying you're paying 2.5 million a year for 25 games. Where's the rent for the shop, the office space, the storage space? Where's all that gone? Everyone seems to have just overlooked that we're actually going to be using that 365 days a year. So have we actually got a better deal than people actually think? People are saying, oh, 2.5 million a year, but actually, we're actually going to use it all year round. Adam, am I missing something, Adam?
I mean, you know what? That's a point I've never really thought about. You don't say the club shop. You know, you've got the claret and blue cafe downstairs. We can get West Ham branded coffee, and as laughable as it is, I mean, you don't think about the outside of the stadium. We're all focused about, you know, as soon as we go in the turnstiles and, you know, the gate receipts and stuff like that. But yeah, like you say, like, you know, we're brand West Ham, we're brand London, and you don't ever think about that. In terms of a good deal, it is a good deal. It's a fantastic deal for our club. I mean, it's like selling your house and then going on holiday every year, for 6 months, and then go stay with someone else, isn't it? We're going to benefit hugely from this deal. It's such a great deal. It just blows my mind, really, how good it is.
Right, we're going to have to leave it there. We're running out of time. We've got our next caller on. But Adam, thank you very much for joining us. And if you're watching the show, do stick around, because I know there's one other person phoning in about the Olympic Stadium, and I'll ask them the same question, and we'll find out Don's thoughts as well. But Adam, I really appreciate your call. Thank you.
No worries, mate.
Cheers, mate.
It's time for our third caller, and I'm delighted to say we've got this guy on. I know Gonzo as well, but third caller, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Justin, aka Hammer Time on the forum, and I'm back over here in the States now, but I was over there for Crystal Palace game recently and had a great time. Thanks a lot to you guys for working all those details out, and yeah, so thrilled to be on here with you guys finally.
Well, it was our pleasure, and you're here to chat about
Diafra Sakho.
Well, come on then, let's hear it.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on, and we've all been kind of kept in the dark. There's these, you know, tweets going out. There's injuries being talked about. There's definitely a bit of discord going on with the team, which is the first time we've really seen that in a season of togetherness that has bred success, more or less. You know, we've seen this team enjoy each other. We've seen pictures. I'm sure Gonzo's been behind the scenes a little bit and seen more of it, but this is the first time we've heard of someone, maybe not being happy. And there's all this other talk going on also about who's going to be coming in the summer, who are we spending 20 million quid on. My point is, and not my point, but my concern is that, we've got 6 really important games left, and this needs, this has to be resolved by Bilic. Bilic is the man we brought in for this job, and whatever's happened with Sakho, and if it is just an injury, then all right, but if it isn't, then I want to know what Bilic is going to do to fix this, because it's his man management that has put us in this position. And all season he's had injuries, so he's been able to play the squad different ways and have that levity. But now he's got people back, and we've all been talking about, we got everyone coming back. We got everyone coming back. Now they're all back. We got someone chucking the toys out the pram. That doesn't sit well with me, and I'm really worried about it.
Gonzo, I'm not even going to ask you a question.
Well, I think really with Sakho, we could have done with him against Man U. Firstly, I really think that the idea was that Carroll would play in the previous game against Arsenal, which he did do and play ever so well. Then we just had a game midweek, small break. That was the first game Carroll had started for a long time, so the idea was for Sakho to play that. I think you've almost got to, with Sakho, separate the player from the man. And the man, I don't think Sakho's injured. Well, he's not got a bad leg or a sore toe or anything in that sense, but he's not well, if you know what I mean. And I don't think he's mentally fit to play, to be perfectly honest with you. He's got a lot going on in his life. I think he's estranged from his wife. I don't think he sees his daughter. I think he's got another daughter with a previous relationship. I don't think he's allowed to see her. There's some quite feisty Twitter exchanges between them. I don't think he's a happy boy reading between the lines. I think he's over here. He's on his own. I think he was clearly upset by not being in the team. And I mean, in terms of any inside information, I don't actually know what's going on there, what Bilic is going to do. But I think Bilic, we've really got to look at how Bilic dealt with Amalfitano, and he was pretty ruthless with him. So he's just got to decide whether he's going to put his arm around him or is he going to put him out. I'm not entirely sure we'll see him play for us again, but that's just my own personal opinion.
Justin, is it not good in a way? I can see a positive side to this. That we've got a striker who's been told he's dropped after playing pretty well, in my opinion. And yes, he's handled it the wrong way, but he got a bit pissed off about it. And I'm glad we've got a player like that. I'm glad we've got a striker that says, wait, hang on a minute. I've played for my shirt. I deserve that shirt, and you're dropping me. I'm not sitting on that bench. I'm here to play first-team football. And he got a bit hacked off. And I do think he went the wrong way about it, stomping home from training, allegedly. But you're not glad he's got that bit of fire and passion in him that says, I'm here to play football at West Ham United. I'm not going to sit on the bench and collect thousands of pounds like other footballers might do.
Well, no, not really, because, the squad we have and what we're trying to achieve, we need that. And Andy Carroll's coming back from injury, watching Sakho play, and I'm sure he has the same feelings, but, we'll bring you on as a super sub against Chelsea and you score the winner, Sakho needs to have that mentality. You're on that bench, so Andy can wear him down now, and you come on and take advantage. And that's how Bilic has been able to use his squad. So if you can't handle, and allegedly, if you can't handle just being not the starter for a game, then that's what's worrying, because that means we won't have you for the rest of the season, because there's no way Bilic keeps that kind of team influence there. And I like his passion, but I don't like his action.
So, Justin, to wrap this up, what are you hoping happens to Diafra Sakho? Are you hoping to see him back in the first team soon? Or are you hoping that that's it, he gets cut off like Amalfitano and the bad apple, if you like, gets thrown out the cart?
Well, like Gonzo said, he might have a lot of problems in his personal life, but who doesn't? And I've got a personal life, and we're not going to talk about that. I'm talking about West Ham, and I want him in the West Ham team. I want him. When I saw him at the Crystal Palace game, when you go live, you see different things, and I thought he didn't have his greatest game, but he was so influential. I mean, he nodded the ball down to Lanzini. He scored. He almost scored off a header off a corner. I mean, he's immense as a forward. He runs into space. I really think he's our best striker. And I think whatever it takes to get him on that pitch for the next 6 games, we have to do now.
Well, Justin, thank you very much for your call. Fantastic call. Really enjoyed that. I know Gonzo did as well. John's by his face. But keep in touch and hopefully we'll see you on again soon, Justin.
Cheers, fellas. Great work.
Thanks,
Cheers. Thank
mate.
you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
On to caller number 4, and it's another familiar face. Caller number 4, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, yeah, I'm Tom, as you all know. I'm from Hammers Chat, and I do a few videos every now and pop up on FanCam as well, so welcome.
And you're here to chat about...
Oh, I'm here to chat about the Olympic Stadium and all the ramblings that have gone on this week, and especially over the last couple of days. It's just, it's really started to grate on me now. It's really getting on my nerves. I can't, honestly, every time I flick on Twitter and the news, it's on there, it's posted everywhere, and it's really getting to me now. Everyone keeps mentioning the taxpayers' money, they pay for it, and I've just had enough, Gio. I've had enough.
What is it that's getting to you when people say that? Why is it getting to you so much?
I don't know. It's the fact that they keep mentioning taxpayers' money, that it's come out of their pocket, as if they're hard done by. We've had. I mean, as you heard, the idiots in TalkSPORT. I mean, last night. They tried obviously having a chairman over, and he perfectly explained it, all the reasons behind it. Really good last night. I don't know. Did you listen to that last night, Gio?
Indeed.
Yeah, and yet again, they just feel like they're game for him. They go as if they've got something. It's just, I'm just angry about the whole situation. They keep mentioning taxpayers' money, and it's getting to me, Joe. It really is getting to me.
Gonzo, why is it that people can't let this go? Why can certain people in this country just not let it go and accept the fact that West Ham United have the Olympic Stadium?
Because everybody likes a conspiracy, I think. Because West Ham have got an excellent deal, and I just think that people have got very short memories, and I think they're just looking at this deal as an isolated incident. Make no mistake about it, by the way. Listening to that last night, Sullivan was absolutely ambushed by those two on TalkSPORT. Just any time he tried to raise a point, they were saying, I'm not buying that. That's it. That's exactly what he said. And there was so much in the habit of saying, I'm not buying that. When he brought up the fact that Bilic wasn't money motivated, I'm not buying that as well. And he just kept on going on about it. And he almost wouldn't accept anything that he said. So, I've just got no respect for them whatsoever. I tried to phone up myself, but they weren't buying any of that either. In terms, I just think everybody's missing the detail. Do you remember, actually, at the start, there were two of us bidding for that stadium? That's Hull and Tottenham. Our bid was accepted initially. Tottenham's was rejected. The reason Tottenham's was rejected is they wanted to knock the whole thing down, move UK athletics back to Crystal Palace, build them a new stadium. So let's just get that right. Okay, Tottenham would have absolutely been happy to gate crash Newham and put their club there. They would have eventually run us out of business. It's not big enough for those two clubs. The Leyton Orient argument really does my head in. Okay, we're in partnership with Newham Council. Upton Park Bowling Ground is in Newham. Stratford is in Newham. Leyton Orient is in Waltham Forest. Why on earth would Newham Council subsidise a club in Waltham Forest? It just wouldn't happen. I think there's some fundamental arguments that actually get missed, to be honest with you.
Tom, what's your thoughts on the deal as a package then? Do you think everybody wins? West Ham got a good deal, but do you think the LLDC have got a good deal as well for the stadium?
Oh, absolutely. We're only renting it for 25 days a year at £2.5 million. Obviously, as Sullivan mentioned, it goes up with RPI. I'm not an economics guy or anything, but it goes up every year anyway on that basis. And that's only, and you've still got 330 odd days a year. The stadium obviously is going to get, and as he's mentioned, it's going to be concerts. It's a total win. It's a win-win situation. There's things that we're not getting part of the deal either. And I just feel, Gio, that in the future, if we ever do become successful, this is going to come back. It's going to come back and keep coming back. And people are going to say, well, taxpayers' money got you there. If you ever win the Champions League, or ever win the Premiership, or do anything successful in the future, people are going to bring this up. It's just bad enough getting over the Sheffield United thing that happened 10 years ago. It's really pees me off.
Well, before we wrap this up, Gonzo's got something to say.
Great points. I was going to say something else, but great points at the end by Tom. We used to be everyone's sort of second team, West Ham, but the Tevez one killed us. And that was a situation which was not fully understood either, because actually third-party ownership was not illegal when Tevez and Mascherano were here. They made it illegal afterwards, but actually it was totally permitted at the time. We got into trouble because the paperwork wasn't filed correctly. We got fined $5 million by the Premier League. But anyway, that's another phone-in probably. But he's right. Every time anything happens, they will bring it up. But I do think it's important to separate this $2.5 million from the rest. And lump it all in, actually. And don't forget, the catering is going to be close to $1 million. They will get that as well. So let's make that 3.5. They're also going to they're probably going to do stadium sponsorship, because we're a Premier League club and a global brand. Rather than $500,000 a year, it's going to be $8 to $10 million. They're going to make at least $4 million off that. Actually, they're probably going to be getting at least $7 million. Now, everyone's having a pop. Anyone that's not having a pop at West Ham is having a pop at the LDDC. So, but before we do, they've got 300 odd days a year. Let's wait before we have a pop at them, and let's see, because it's Joshua's fighting Fury next year. That could happen there. Concerts. Give them a chance to fill that stadium. It may well be that the taxpayer actually gets a hefty profit. It's all nonsense anyway. If you broke it down, the stadium's probably cost each person 50 pence or something like that. I don't know. It's all a load of rubbish. Andy Goldstein was acting like somebody had broken into his bank account, nicked a couple of grand, and he was personally insulted by it. Believe you me, the taxpayer, the fund, will get paid back handsomely.
Fantastic. Well, Tom, thank you very much for your call. It's a popular topic as well, but brilliant view. Take care, Tom.
Yeah, and you guys.
See you, mate.
Right, it's time for our second last caller of the evening. It's a new face to me. It's a new face to Gonzo. It's a new face to you. New caller, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Jack. I'm from Slough. Go most home and away, West Ham.
Fantastic, Jack. Well, thank you very much for joining us. What are you here to chat about tonight?
Just about how the season's gone and how happy I am. Even though we got kicked out of the cup, but it's still been an amazing season, isn't it?
There's plenty to play for, don't you think? I've seen a lot of people say the season's over. Gonzo said it after the Man U game, but to be fair, we were all a bit depressed that night because we did it straight after. But now we've all had time to calm down. There's 6 games to go, and we're not that far off the top 4. And it's still, Europa League is still a fantastic achievement, when you say, Jack.
Well, yeah, I mean, I went to Germany on a pre-season tour 2 years ago, and it was one of the most amazing experiences ever. Going away with West Ham, even though it's just a little, anywhere in Europe, going away on a Thursday or whatever night it is, it's amazing,
Gonzo, what are you thinking? Do you think the season's still got a lot to play for?
Yeah. Well, listen, firstly, I mean, hats off to Jack. Anyone that goes home and away and then goes over to Germany to see pre-season friendlies, you've got to take your hat off to. I mean, so, well done, Jack. You're a true fan, mate. But in terms of the season being over, I mean, really, we're only a victory away and a Man City loss away this weekend for being right back bang in it, really, aren't we?
Yeah, I go abroad every time I go to see West Ham, whether they're playing Upton Park or not, to be fair. But Jack, what do you think's making this season so special? Is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it the staff behind Bilic? Is it the board level? Or is it just everything?
To be honest, obviously everyone knows how he played under Allardyce. Under Allardyce, everything. We just got lucky from a knockdown, and that was it. Here, we look dangerous. Every time we break, everyone comes off their seat when we're coming forward. Home or away, you look at the game, it's exciting. When under Allardyce, it's just the same old shit. We just get lucky. If we get a lockdown to Nolan this lucky, and that's it. And defenders can read that one game plan we've got. Here, it's just you don't know what Payet's going to do you? Payet, Lanzini, you don't know what's going to happen.
There was a few, probably lazy journalism, but a few paper talks at Fenerbahce want Bilic. But let's just ignore the Fenerbahce link. Jack, are you worried that in the summer there might be a few clubs looking for a new manager? Are you a bit worried that someone might look over at Bilic? Because as Sullivan was saying on TalkSPORT last night, he's got a 3-year deal. It's not that long for a manager, really, and his buyout wouldn't be that much because his wages aren't huge. Because Sullivan kind of gave his hand away a wee bit by saying Bilic isn't after money and he doesn't get paid a lot for a manager. So I think Sullivan might have shown too much of his hand there a wee bit. Are you worried, Jack, or are you confident that Bilic is West Ham just as much as West Ham is Bilic this season?
To be honest, I'm not worried about it. I think we've got a good thing going on at West Ham, and I think everyone knows it. And other clubs are jealous of what's going on at West Ham. I think he can see that there's a lot to be done at West Ham, and we're building a good future for the club.
What do you think, Gonzo? Do you think Bilic will stay? And Sullivan called it a project, which I find very interesting because they've always got plans in place. Are you confident that Bilic will stay and see out the project?
Yeah, I think he's right, and I totally, as much as Andy Goldstein wasn't buying it, what Sullivan was saying, I totally bought it, and I totally agreed with what he said. I do think Bilic is in it for the project. I think the project is alluring. There's no mistake about it. I certainly don't think Fenerbahce have got anything to offer, Champions League football, but you're going to go into a stale, stagnant league there. Whereas you've only got to look at the Premier League. Look what Leicester have done. Look where Chelsea are this season. You don't know what's going to happen in the Premier League, and also there's riches on offer. The new TV deal is huge and will certainly dwarf any money that's available in Turkey. So why would Bilic leave? No, I think he's happy here. He's loved by the fans. We sing his name at every game. So no, I think he's going to stay. And also, he wouldn't be able to take players. There's no way Fenerbahce would be able to afford to keep a player like Payet and then add players to it, which is what we're going to do in the summer. So no, I'm not worried at all.
Well, Jack, you've been impressed by this season, but what would impress you next season? Let's just say we finish in Europa League spots. We finish 5th or 6th, say we miss out on top 4, but we get into Europe. What's the aim for West Ham next year then? What have we got to be setting as the standard?
To me, obviously, do well in the Europa League if we get there. I'd love a decent draw with a big team in the Europa League, something like that. See how far we can go. I mean, Fulham have done it, and why can't we? I would love that. I'd love to go on a little run in Europa League. If that's where we end up, you never know. We could still get Champions League, but if that's where we end up, I'd love us to go on a good run, and I couldn't think of anything better than European nights away.
No, I totally agree. I mean, you're right. There are lesser teams that do well in Europe. I mean, Liverpool were in the semi-final draw today. But Jack, thank you very much for your call. Appreciate your views. Keep in touch, and hopefully we'll see you on again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Jack. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Okay, it's almost the end of the show. We're down to our last caller, and it's someone new again. New person, introduce yourself.
My name's Charlie, and I'm going to talk about the summer transfers that I would like to see happen.
Look, come on then, Charlie, what would you like to see?
I want to first talk about sort of the loan deals I'd like to keep that we've had running through the season. The first one's Moses. I think he could still be a great addition. You see him come on against United, and he seemed like a great little player still. But he's the only really one I think who should stay. I mean, Song, he's not the player he was last season. And I'm sure Manike, he's going to go right down the pecking order if he did sign. If we're going to get the likes of Lacazette or Batshuayi, them sort of strikers. But no, Song, I think he's been sort of put in the shadow by Payet, Lanzini and Antonio, them sort of players. So yeah, I think Moses is the only one I think is worth keeping. Depends how much Chelsea would put him up for sale for and what he'd want. If you want a new, more wages, whatever like that. But yeah, he's the only sort of signing I'd like to keep. Midfield, I'd like to strengthen sort of winging it, like the wingers area, with sort of players like Gökhan Toure from Besiktas. I definitely think he'd be a great addition. And he knows Bilic obviously from his previous club. I think midfield is pretty sorted because we've got a lot of depth. You see players like Obiang don't even get enough game time when he's an excellent midfielder, with the likes of Kjarte and Noble sort of getting in front of him. And also right back. I've seen a lot of people saying we need to sign another right back, but you're forgetting that we have Byram. I know he's been cut tired, and that's why people have forgotten he's been injured as well, but he's back on Sunday. But we've also been linked with another couple of right backs across Europe. But I think we're okay with the right back position. And sort of the last place I think we should fill obviously is a striker. And there's been loads of sort of different strikers, Sturridge, Benteke, Wilfred Boney, them sort of people who we've been linked with. And I think the best sort of fit would be Lacazette. I mean, Batshuayi was heavily linked with us, but now he's sort of going over to Juventus and Tottenham. No, that's really it.
Fantastic, right. Well, I'm going to pick up on one of your players there that you said you'll keep, because When myself and Gonzo do every show, every preview, every review, we've talked about on the last 2 episodes of Talk West Ham where we've said we want this guy out of the club. So Charlie, you've got a wee minute to think about your reasons for why we should keep Victor Moses, because Gonzo, I think you're ready to get rid of him, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, whatever I want to do is by the by. Really, his wages are prohibitive. I mean, Charlie just asked, how much money would he want? Well, he just signed a 5-year deal at about 100 grand a week at Chelsea. He wouldn't even get half that at West Ham, so he is just not going to sign. If he was somebody that just wanted to play every week and was willing to sign for a club smaller than Chelsea, let's say, or a club that's not going to be in the Champions League every year, then he would have signed for Stoke, he would have signed for us. The fact that he signed up at 5 years at Chelsea says everything, really. The other thing, the reason they're paying him so much is every club has to have a quota of English players. And I know he plays for Nigeria, but he actually went to school. I think he came over at the age of 7 or 8, so he's classified as a homegrown player, and Chelsea will pay a premium to keep those guys on. So I don't ever think that's going to happen anyway. He did look better against Man United, but he looked better than Valencia, which probably wasn't hard on the day. He plays like that too infrequently, so that's my views on Moses. I just want to pick up on something else that you said, Charlie, and that was about Sam Byram. Now, Sam Byram, we've only seen glimpses of him. We've not seen enough of him, I don't think, to make a sort of solid verdict on him. He might be very, very good, but if what we want to do is move into the new stadium, challenge for the top 4, and really become a club that sort of operates in the top echelons, then I think we need somebody a bit more solid at right back rather than taking a gamble that a bloke from the Championship might make it and turn out to be like Cresswell. He may well do, but I think it's probably right to sign a senior right back and get him playing there. And if it does turn out that Byram is the player we all hope he will be, then we get him in there. But it's a hell of a risk going into next season with Tompkins and Byram as our right-back options, in my opinion.
Well, we've got Joey O'Brien as well, if he gets kept on. Charlie, what have you got to say to Gonzo there? Don't be afraid to disagree with him.
I know, I was agreeing with you saying with Moses. I didn't realise he was on a 100,000 contract at Chelsea. I wouldn't have said we should keep him on then, because obviously he's not going to take a large wage cut. But I also agree with, I didn't realise that Byram, how young he actually is. You see, he came on against City and he was so confident, and I think that's what that sort of glimpse shows what he can provide for us. But I do agree, we might need to sign a sort of European right back that we haven't sort of had, because we've always had a sort of a predominantly British defence. Obviously, we've gone for Bonner this season. He's done wonders for us. But yeah, I do agree with you.
To be fair though, Bill, even though Byram has been cup tied, he's been in back training this week and that. Bilic will have seen Byram in training. Bilic will know if he's capable or not, I think. Even though us fans haven't seen him much, Bilic has probably seen him enough. But I think one thing we maybe have to consider is maybe Byram is actually the man to replace Victor Moses in the winger role, because that's where he played for Leeds United. And maybe we do get the senior right back in. We'll get rid of Moses, move Byram back up to the right wing as cover for Antonio almost, while we nurture him in the Premier League. Charlie, last question for you before we wrap this up. What's your dream striker? We've asked it to everybody that comes on talking about summer signings. Who would you want in an ideal world? We're linked with all these men. You must have your preferred choice.
Well, you'd think a lot of people would say Ibrahimovic with all of the sort of speculation about him, but I'd rather go for someone you can see is a bit younger, and you can see he's scoring a lot of goals in League One. That's Lacazette. I think would fit right into our squad. Being French as well, links with Payet, definitely he'd be a great fit for us, I think.
Fantastic. Well, you share the same opinion as myself and Gonzo. But Charlie, thank you very much for your call. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Cheers, Charlie. Thank you.
And that's all we've got time for tonight. So massive thank you to all 6 of our callers. Gonzo, did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, I did. I think that probably all 6 could and probably would have spoken about the Olympic Stadium if they were allowed to. But that was a good show. We covered a lot of topics there.
Are you glad to have a wee rant? I think you enjoyed ranting about the Olympic Stadium during that, didn't you?
I do. It probably wasn't long enough for me. I probably could do with a 20-minute dedicated show. I was half contemplating doing a rosette purely on the Olympic Stadium this week. But yeah, it was good to get something up off my chest, you know.
Well, if Godza does do a rosette on the Olympic Stadium, we'll be on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Hammers Chat. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube. Subscribe now. If you enjoy the show, make sure you like and also tell your friends about it. Share our videos as much as you can, because for us to grow and bring you more content, we need your help. We have a free forum at hammerchat.boards.net. If you're not a member, do join up. This season, we've given away double figures of free tickets to West Ham games. We've given away a signed shirt by the 2015-16 squad, which is still ongoing. You can get involved on the forum. We're giving away a shirt that Ian Bishop gave us that he wore at Martin O'Groats testimonial, signed by all the legends. We've given away heaps of stuff, and we'll keep giving that away to you, so do come along. To keep up to date with all the latest West Ham news, do pop on to cladandhugh.info for all your exclusives, as he has top sources at the club, including Mr. David Gold, and you will regularly see articles from him on there. But anyway, I think that's it from us. Gonzo, is there anything you'd like to add?
Not really. I've probably been speaking for far longer than the viewers would like, so yeah, I think we'll leave it there. But it's been a good show. Thanks, mate.
No worries, and thank you to for watching, of course. We'll be back at some point with another Talk West Ham. If you want to get involved, come and join us on the forum.